What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to the beginning of my series, which will carry on throughout the entire of Football Manager 2014, The Ascent. But who's it going to be with? I did ask you guys yesterday, in fact it was a few days ago now, but what team you wanted to see me be. I got hundreds of replies, and I'm pleased to announce that thanks to a follower of mine on Twitter, in fact, who told me about this team, I think I found a team that's going to make for an incredibly interesting save. Where is this team? Who is this team? Well, to start off with, we're going to be starting in the 22nd tier. And we're going to be starting as Al Ain FC, who are in the United Arab Emirates. And eyebrows have just been raised. But let's crack on, and I will tell you exactly why this is the team that I'm going to be playing as, and why I think this is going to make a fantastic challenge, and why I think you should download this database. Link is down in the description, and why you should give it a go yourselves on this game. So here it is, Al Ain FC. Now, you're probably wondering, Jack, why this team? Well, first and foremost, I wanted a long-term save. They start in the very bottom tier, which is the World Qualification Pool, which is the 22nd tier. There are 33 teams in our group. You play every team once, so it's 32 games in a season. Only one team goes up. From there, every league afterwards is a case of 24 teams from around the world ranked based off reputation. You play every team once, so it's 23 games a season. And then there's a promotion and a relegation. So the kind of shorter league season, and the reason is you only play every team once, is because it's very expensive for teams to move around the world to play each other in travel costs. So to kind of counteract that, you only play every team once. But it's going to make for an interesting save, because it means that realistically I could do 20 promotions with this teams, and it means that because the seasons are shorter and snappier, the save will always be moving on, which really attracted me to this database in the first place. So anyway, that doesn't really explain why I've gone with this team rather than another team in the World League database. You might think and assume, and you'd be absolutely correct to assume, that because Al Ain are in the United Arab Emirates, they have a lot of money. That is indeed the case, and that is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this save. So we only have a transfer budget of 4 million, but we have a wage budget of 2.29 million. Which actually equates to a transfer budget of about 40 million. The owners of the club are sugar daddies, amazing finances, and there's going to be a lot of money able to be ploughed into the club. But the thing that's going to make this save incredibly challenging is going to be starting at the bottom with a team such as this with a really low reputation. Because whilst I might be able to attract in younger players from the top teams, I'm never really going to be able to attract established players without paying through the roof for them. So if I just show you kind of our team here, Asamoah Gyan is the most paid player at the club on 140k a week. I don't think there's that many players on a similar amount. We do have Michel Bastos, who you guys should recognise if you're into your football, and we also have this guy Jerez Kembo Ekoko. So anyway, the general challenge with this save is going to be getting up these divisions. Obviously, we have not unlimited money, but there is going to be a lot of money ploughed in. But to keep the gelling high in the squad, to prevent players from becoming unhappy and wanting to play at a higher league, is going to be a challenge. And one of the real challenges is going to be trying to keep our momentum in terms of going up through the leagues, not overpaying for players. In terms of their wages, I'd like to keep the wage budget fairly low, although I am going to be willing to spend a lot of money because I think that's what's going to make this interesting. But the cost of bringing in players for a load of money, they're going to want to jump ship even sooner if things don't quite go to plan, which I think is what's going to make this interesting. So anyway, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to be streaming the pre-season for this save now. Unfortunately, because the video is going to be going up afterwards, you will be able to watch it on demand. If you want to catch me when I might be streaming this save in the future, you want to go to twitch.tv/workthe_space and subscribe to me on Twitch, and you'll get notified if I ever go live. I'll have a link down in the description so you guys can watch it on demand if you want to see the entire pre-season with this team. And I'm now going to transition really quickly into the first game of the season. You guys are going to see the squad, and I'm going to be following a format similar to the Pentagon Challenge with this save, in terms of not doing the live games all the time, but maybe the big games I will do. So anyway, I will talk to you guys in a sec once pre-season is over and after I finish streaming. Okay guys, so it's the end of pre-season and it's been a very hectic month or so. I have got plenty more transfers I'd like to get done. I'm still not 100% happy with the squad I have, but I think we've certainly made good progress in terms of signing players who I think are going to make a long-term impact at the club and not overpaying for them necessarily on the wages front. So anyway, let's have a look at our transfer history so you guys can see exactly what I've done so far. No players on the out. Most of the players here are not really worth anything, so I'm just going to stick them in the reserves and let them kind of let their contracts expire, because most of them end at the end of the year, and those that don't I'll probably look to sell. But in terms of the transfers, a fair few players coming in for £37.64 million. There's a few big players here who I think are going to make a very big difference. So anyway, let's crack on and have a look at who we actually signed. So the first signing I made was actually a free transfer, and it was Sidi Keita, who is a Malian international, really good defensive midfielder, going to be a good ball-winning midfielder, I think, coming on off the bench a lot of the time. In terms of the quality of our squad, in terms of reputation and the teams around us, to give you an idea, Bournemouth and Barnsley are in our group, so really we're looking at a mid-table to low-end championship side, so that's what I've been aiming for. Obviously my money has enabled me to kind of spend slightly more than that. Our aim for the season is mid-table, and I think that is more than possible. So anyway, next transfer in, Max Clayton coming in from Crewe. I like this guy a lot. He's not as good on FM this year, but early on in my kind of spending spree, I suppose, I wasn't sure who I could realistically attract with the money we had. So I managed to get Max Clayton in. Probably paid a little bit too much for him at 1.4 million, but a good signing nevertheless. Going to be a useful striker, I think, coming on off the bench. Next signing was Victor Claesson. This guy is a Swedish international, 21 years old, really nice centre mid. Ideal box to box, I think, maybe a deep line playmaker in disguise as well. Just lovely stats, really well rounded off. And he's going to be doing certainly a vital role for us, I think, in the centre of the park. Next player we signed was Vitaly Fedotov. This guy, Ukrainian, very good player, 22 years old. Could be playing him in centre mid, I think, this year. He'll probably rotate with the other options we have, but he can also play out on the left hand side, which, as I will show with my tactics that I've come up with, I think is going to play into our hands very nicely. So a nice little bit of coverage there. £3.5 million, not the cheapest player ever, but I think he's a useful little signing nevertheless. Next signing we have is Harry Maguire. I signed this guy in my Wolves stream save I did at the start of this game. He is an absolutely fantastic rocket centre-back. Not necessarily got the best pace, but his heading and aerial ability more than make up for it. And with a speedy-ish centre-back partnering him, I think he can work really nicely in this league. Really good strength, really good heading, and really good aerial ability as a whole. Combining that with his bravery, he's going to be winning a hell of a lot of the stuff in the air for us. Anyway, next option is Bernardo Silva. This guy came in from Benfica's B team. 18 years old, a really nice little talent, plenty of potential. What more can I say? He doesn't necessarily fit my system that I have, but I think it's going to be very vital in this save to invest in youth early. You know, get young players coming to my club before they establish themselves at their current team, because young players from other teams, you know, who are listed as hot prospects, maybe even backups, or just good young players, I can probably attract them to my club, because although we're in the 22nd tier, we don't actually have a terrible reputation in relative terms, and also the money is always a good swinging factor in terms of attracting players in. In a similar vein, another young player who we signed in was Ryan Gould, Scottish international. This guy, really good player. Highly recommend you guys pick him up on your saves if you can, although he does ask for quite a bit of money. In terms of Dundee's asking price for him, but £3 million spent. Can be a useful player. May look to loan him out this year, but you know, looking to build for the future, as I already mentioned. In terms of our partner for Harry Maguire this year, Derek Boyata is the man who is going to be up for the task. This guy, fantastic centre-back, really good on FM last year. This year, still playing for Man City, transfer listed from the start of the game. You can pick him up for £500,000, and at that price, he really is a steal. He's going to complement Harry Maguire very nicely. I think those two guys are going to be the people who start at centre-back. There are a few more players under the radar who I may look to bring in, you know, just to add us that bit more strength, because we've got the money to do so. But I think those two are certainly going to be up to the task. We also have here Ramiro Funes Mori. This guy I signed for £1.7 million. I didn't really scout him properly. £1.7 million, I definitely overpaid for him and his wages are too high. One of those things, sometimes you make a misjudgment, you get a bit, money happy, as I have done just because of the amount of money that I do have. He'll be an okay backup, probably backup at best. He's still young. £1.7 million though, definitely overspent. Will be lucky to recoup that in a few seasons. Next player in, someone who I definitely didn't think I was going to be able to sign, but as I have mentioned, young players seem to be inclined to join us for decent money, and Gabriel Barbosa is the first instance of one of these young players. Now, because Santos have been moved into the World the World League structure because of their high reputation, it means that they don't have the Brazilian rules, and also work permits don't apply because they're playing in the same country already, and I think they've just been removed for the database. There's none of that stuff to worry about, so I was able to sign him. Now, at £8 million, it's a hell of a lot of money to pay, but I know this guy can become an absolutely incredible player, and he's the kind of player who I'm hoping will be able to stay at the club from start to finish. Because I'm getting him when he's really young, I'm hoping that I can build a personal relationship with him in terms of my manager, get under his favourite personnel, and then hopefully convince him to stay at the club. And hopefully he can just continue to improve and really carry us through the divisions throughout his career. Next option in is another keeper for us. We need a keeper. Of course you need a keeper in football, but a solid keeper is always a nice ask, and Alex Smithies is an absolute fantastic player signed from Huddersfield Town. If you've ever played FM, you will have seen this guy emerge in England. He becomes one of the best English goalkeepers. Fantastic mentals for a youngish keeper. Playing all the first team football for us this year is definitely going to help him improve, and I'm definitely hopeful that he can continue to improve and really become an essential member of our first team. Next player, Christian Suarez, nice little centre-back, can also play right-back, good little bit of coverage, a little bit like Harry Maguire. He's really good in the air, lacks the speed. I like this guy as an option, definitely going to be kind of second-choice right-back, and he will rotate in and out with our centre-backs. I think this year we're going to have a very competitive side in terms of players fighting it out for first-team places. Because of the money that we have, I'm really able to spend a lot of money to build a load of kind of strength in depth and really, force players, I guess, to dice it out for their position in the squad and then get rid of players who just simply aren't up to grade. Anyway, next option in is Villa. This guy is a really nice Is it Slovakian or Slovenian? I don't want to get it wrong. It's Slovenian, I think. It is Slovenian. He's a really good left back. He has come in for £500,000 from Maribor. This guy, just amazing, well-rounded offset left back or left wing back. Really nice rounded off stats, which is going to be useful because our system does rely on our full-backs to really push forward, which I will come on to shortly. So he was a really good option there. We then have Samuel Chieri, I guess that is his name, just a useful little right back. Ghanaian, good speed, good defensive stats, nice creativity as well, really just going to be a third choice right back, going to be sitting in the reserve team but on a free, only on £4,000 a week, it's pennies for us, so it was nice to just get him in. Anyway, next option in is Josimar Gomez. This guy, nice versatile player, can play right wing back. He's probably going to be getting trained at centre mid for us this year and could be filling in as kind of the more defensive of our pairing of centre mids in our tactic. Really nice player, low wages as well for kind of considering his stats and stuff, and a fairly low price paid compared to some of the players at our squad. Anyway, two more players to tell you guys about. Both keepers. Paul Nardi the first, really good, talented French goalkeeper. Definitely looking for him to improve this year. And as another young goalkeeper, we have Sondre Rosbach, which is a really epic name, if I might say so. He is Norwegian. He is an absolutely amazing centre back. I was about to say centre back. Amazing goalkeeper for his age. Lacks the physicals perhaps, but other than that, he really has all the essentials. And there's no reason why, a few years down the line, he really can't be dicing out for a first team place. And his wages are relatively low as well. So that is our team at the moment. There's still a few more spots that I'd like to get a little bit more strength and depth in, and hopefully by next episode you guys will see that coming into fruition. In terms of our actual tactics, this is the system we're going to be running. It's the Wolves system that I ran that got them into the Premier League. It's a 4-4-2 with a fairly aggressive stance in terms of having two really attacking wingers, making use of the players who are already at the club like Jayan, Michel Bastos and Kembo Akoko. I think this team's going to be really solid for us. The only other player who's kind of going to be starting for us or at least in contention for a starting position for us, who was already at the club, is Radoi. This guy is a Romanian centre-back, amazing mentals, amazing defensive stats, a useful player, perhaps lacks the aerial ability and speed that I like in my kind of centre-backs, but nevertheless, those mentals more than make up for it. A fantastic leader at the club, and he's going to be a leading light, I think, this season. So far, just making these essential transfers, there's certainly room for more improvements, and I definitely want to continue to bring in players. Perhaps spent a little bit more than I was anticipating, and I still think, it might be another 30-odd million pounds that I need to spend to get a squad that I think, yes, we're going to walk the league. Looking at the league, I mean, we should be up there. There's only one space to go up, and you'd expect with our money that we can really do that. I mean, it's weird for me because when I play FM, I don't usually go as these clubs with loads of money. I usually end up at smallish teams with not a lot of money and kind of scrape it by. So this challenge is very different, and I'm really hoping that kind of my approach in terms of just bringing in lots of strength and depth is going to work for us. My big worry, perhaps, is the fact that when you've got players like Jayan on 140k a week, they might get a little bit kind of laid back, and they're all here for the money, and they don't play particularly well for you. So I think that's going to be very interesting to see how it kind of all transpires. As I mentioned, I will be hopefully streaming this save from time to time, and I hope that you guys are looking forward to that. I hope you guys do like as well the selection of team. Something very different, A lot of my series have revolved around kind of starting at the bottom or starting at the top with not a lot of money, and I really wanted to go with something in a very different direction, and I kind of feel that by going with a team in the 22nd tier of a league but with a lot of money, it kind of presents its own challenges in terms of retaining the services of players that you bring in, and I guess just launching your way up the leagues and just seeing how much kind of money you really need to become the best team in the world. Because, I mean, you've got to understand the fact that, I guess, in this league and in this country, the best league is absolutely incredible. And even with infinite money, which I don't think we necessarily have, but even with, a ridiculous amount of money and a sugar daddy backing you, to challenge any one of these teams is going to be a monumentous task. But hopefully one that our team's up for. It's certainly going to be interesting. So anyway, guys, that does wrap up the video for today. I do hope you guys have enjoyed kind of this introduction to the series. If you were in the stream earlier, hopefully you did enjoy it. As I mentioned, you can watch it on demand. As I mentioned as well, the download link for the database is down below. Basically, what you do is you subscribe to the database on Steam. You then go on your Football Manager main menus under the Downloads tab. Then you go to, I think it's Download Managers or something Managers, and then you can basically install the database from there, and then you just have to install it when you launch the game. So yeah, that does wrap everything up for today, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button. Let me know that you like the idea of this series. There were so many amazing suggestions, and I do appreciate everyone for giving me that kind of support and ideas and feedback. And the general consensus I got was that people wanted to see a lower-ish or really lower kind of challenge up the table. And whilst this probably isn't quite as challenging as some people were anticipating me to do, realistically, to do 22 promotions, a minimum of 22 seasons, is going to be a massive task. And then to win the league, this is going to be a 30 or 40 year task and really a long haul save, which I really hope you guys are going to enjoy. So yeah, as I mentioned, and now I'm rambling, thank you very much. If you've got any comments with regards to the series, let me know. And other than that, guys, it is me, Jack. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.